inflation is only 2%, or inflation is 1%, or inflation might be 3%. Okay, that's just a mistaken idea. What is inflation? Inflation is the rate at which the things you want to buy are going up in price. And what are the things you want to buy? Well, you might want to buy pizza, might want to buy Netflix, but you might want to buy a house. You might want to rent a house, but if you want to rent a house, it might not go up in price as much as if you want to buy a house. What if you want to buy a house in the middle of Manhattan? It might go up in price differently than a house in the middle of Kansas. What if I want to buy food? What if I want to buy energy? What if I want to buy a Picasso? And what if I want to buy something truly scarce? What if I want season tickets to, the baseball game? What if I want health care? What if I want early retirement? They're all things you can buy. You can buy assets. You want to buy a Rolex? You want to buy a Maserati or a Porsche? Luxury goods? Or do you want to buy commodity goods? And there are some things you don't have to pay for, right? They're ad finance, right? Streaming YouTube. What's that? What's the inflation rate on streaming YouTube? Ad finance, right? So the inflation is the cost of stuff. If the money supply is expanding, that means the currency is devaluing. I live in a town and there's 1,000 houses, and I double the amount of currency in the town, and everybody wants a house. What's the price of houses do, right? If the only thing I can buy is a house, and if I double the amount of currency, then the price of the house must go up. Probably go up by 2, but maybe not exactly by 2, but it goes up. If I increase the amount of money, if I raise everybody's salary by a factor of 10, and I keep the number of houses constant, one might presume that the price of houses will go up. How will inflation actually take place? Well, there's a different coefficient for the price gradient, or the change in price for everything you might want to buy, and it's different at every point in time. So, for example, if I put you in lockdown and I make it illegal to go to the movies, and I make it illegal to go to a restaurant, then the price of restaurants and movie theaters aren't going to go up. If I make it illegal or inappropriate to go on a cruise and fly in an airplane, then the price of cruise tickets and movie theater tickets and restaurants, they just don't go up because you can't buy them if you want to. There's no velocity on that money. Okay, what can you buy? You can buy stocks. You can buy crypto, right? So what does go up? Well, if I give you $1,000 and you can go and you can buy stocks, then the price of stocks go up. So rational human behavior causes people to take their money and go buy things they want. So what is inflation? Inflation is a vector. It's not a scalar. A vector means you can calculate for 1,000 different products, 1,000 different numbers, and they change every month. So I could give you 1,000 different numbers, 12 different times a year, and it would be different in every city. Everybody can figure out that in Minot, North Dakota, it's different than Manhattan. And it's even different in Manhattan than in Brooklyn, and it's different in Brooklyn than in upstate New York. So inflation is varying by time, by space, and it's varying by every item. And if you want to calculate the inflation index, you have to construct a market basket of goods and services and assets that you would want to acquire. And then I can give you the rate at which that market basket of goods and services and assets is changing every month or every week. Of course, that would be different for every person. I could define a market basket of things that don't go up in price by definition too. If I define a market basket of highly manufactured goods that have very low variable cost, right? Like, what's the price of your streaming YouTube video? Or what's the price of some manufactured box of macaroni? If I spent $2 billion on a factory to stamp out widgets that have a variable cost of 10%, then I've already sunk the cost in the factory. Those things don't inflate at the same rate as, if there's only one Mona Lisa in the world, and if I increase the amount of money in the world by a factor of 100, don't you think that the value of the Mona Lisa would go up, assuming that lots of wealthy people wanted it? If I want to really understand anything in the engineering world, I need to use vector calculus, right? Or vector math. I would never use arithmetic. You cannot solve the problem of fluid dynamics with arithmetic. You can't design a boat You can't design a plane, you can't design a nuclear reactor, and you can't design a bridge with arithmetic. Well, a scalar, like, oh, inflation is 2%, that's arithmetic, right? You know, adding it up, right? Isaac Newton gave us the calculus of variations, you know, and calculus in general, and pretty much every sophisticated thing that flies or floats, you know, it's all based upon calculus, and you just can't solve the problem without that math.